Hello, I'm Brett Premack, and this is Jazz Video Podcast.
At this time, I'm honored to introduce to you radio, television personality, author, composer, band leader, and artist. Please help me bring to the stage a true friend to IAJE, Dr. BillyTaylor.
A public figure for more than 6 decades, BillyTaylor is one of the most influential pianists, composers, and educators in jazz. Perfectly cast in his role as spokesperson for America's classical music, Billy has long been an uncompromising spokesman for jazz.
You know, you don't have to play jazz to understand it. Anybody who listens and enjoys jazz can appreciate this uniquely American music. Jazz reflects the American ideal of individual expression in a very special way. It is simple, yet complex, relaxed, yet intense. In many ways, it mirrors our culture. And as much as it has been influenced by music and musicians from elsewhere, jazz was born and has kept its roots in the United States. Jazz is America's classical music.
A gentle giant. He's a very gentle man, a very knowledgeable man, and a joy to work with. I had a good time with Billy. We had a lot of fun.
Billy has always, in my mind, had this image of being, for lack of a better expression, but something that you've heard bandied about a lot, the Godfather. He's had that sort of Godfather image, and done so because of his genuine concern for the music and doing whatever he can to help legitimatize jazz, because at one point, you know, the canon of music academia in many instances refused to acknowledge jazz as an important or valid art form. So Billy has done a great deal to help that along.
Neither my brother nor I went into music. It wasn't anything that we felt that we had the talent to pursue. But the one thing that both of us saw in my dad day in and day out was that he had a passion about his work that lit up his life. You could see it on his face when he would sit down at the piano. He would light up like from the inside. And I knew at that point that I had to find something in my life that I could be as passionate about, that your work wasn't supposed to be something that was just a job. It was supposed to be something where you got something out of it and you felt fulfilled by it. So I learned that from him. I also learned from him that you have to give back to a community. You know, pretty early on, I was probably about 10 or 11, my dad started Jazzmobile, and I watched how he took music that had come from the black community back into the black community. People couldn't afford to go downtown to hear the likes of Dizzy Gillespie and you name it, the stars of the time. And so he brought them to the streets of Harlem so that people could hear them. And that meant a lot to me, that you get something and you develop it and you take it back to the community. So as a result of that, I chose in my own area, which is law, completely divorced from music, to work with indigent clients in communities of color, because it was something that I had learned from my dad.
One of the things that really drew us even closer was when he was a member of the National Council on the Arts. And Billy was instrumental, along with Gunther Schuller, in setting up the Jazz Artisan Schools pilot program to be a part of the arts and education component of the National Endowment for the Arts. And I was jazz panel chairman for 2.5 years, and then I became the national coordinator, and I worked very closely with Billy. And it was due primarily to Billy's efforts, with some reinforcement from Gunther Schuller, that that program came about.
Dr. Taylor is one of the great, and I don't use that term loosely, but he's really truly one of the great educators in jazz music. He is one of the great pianists and composers, and he is one of the, I feel, one of the truly beautiful human beings in this music. And I always believe that the music is not separate from the individual, that the music will reflect who the individual is deep down inside. And Dr. Taylor's music, I really believe, reflects that. The work that he has done and is doing, that he continues to do with Jazzmobile, with Education, the International Association of Jazz Education, with the media, with CBS Sunday Morning, the interviews he's given, the profiles that he's done of some musicians that might have fallen out of the public eye, but he won't let it completely disappear. The work that he has done and is doing and continues to do at the Kennedy Center is very, very important and truly plays a prominent role in the jazz community. Dr. Taylor has been very, very helpful to many young musicians. He's been very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? He's been very forthcoming with helping to give young female jazz musicians a stage in which to shine and to develop their crafts. And for that, I and many others will always be grateful.
I can't think of any music that gives me as much pleasure, as much any music that says as much to me as an individual as jazz has said to me over my life. The music I've experienced with Ellington, with all of the wonderful musicians I've worked with, to sit to play on the same bandstand as Ella Fitzgerald and play for her and realize what she did with the music that we were playing together. To be a part of any number of groups where to sit in a crowded club and play with Candido and realize that this man, when I was working with him at that time, could barely speak English. And here we are communicating to the extent that people are jumping up screaming at the excitement that we were able to do together. And you know, it's experiences like that are unusual, and they make me feel that life has certainly been worth it, you know.
BillyTaylor is the Leonard Bernstein of jazz. He is a great communicator. He's an elegant, a tolerant, intelligent person who is engaging yet non-threatening, and therefore is able to make contact with an audience, large or small, whether it's a a virtual audience and the other side of a television camera, or with a live audience in a concert hall. He not only loves jazz and understands it, but is able to communicate it in essential terms so that anybody feels that they're able to understand it. And of course, he then can illustrate it in his own elegant and very musical manner, playing with his chosen vehicle, which is has almost always been the classic piano trio with bass and drums.
I think from the moment I knew Billy, and Billy always put things out in front. You knew he was a great player, but you got the feeling of, I guess guys would call it a Joe College. The image, he had a great image for the music to me. He was a spokesman. He played well. He was polished. He's been polished for a long time, I'll put it that way. He's polished. Some of us are not that polished. Billy is a polished individual.
I'm Brett Premack, and I'd like to thank you for checking out this edition of Jazz Video Podcasts.